Today, I'd like to give you a conceptual snapshot of what your reading sessions might look like, depending on how much time you can give it. So let's start by taking a look at a 5-minute session. I'm going to assume that if you're doing 5 minutes, and let's say 5 minutes twice a day, that you're teaching an emergent reader who maybe isn't really so sure he's into this reading thing. So let's look at a 5-minute plan. In your 5-minute plan, start with letter sounds. Choose 3 letter sounds and teach 3 every week. Move through the alphabet. When you finish, start all over again until the learner has learned those sounds. Use the Starfall ABC app. That's my recommendation, because every time you tap the little letter in the app, you get the sound and not the name of the letter. That's very helpful because it's very helpful in decoding. Next, pick a totally awesome, totally cool to that learner bit of reading material. It could be a personal page, a personal book, a personal lotto game, or one of the absolutely awesome, cool picture books from my reading program like Spaghetti, I Want Pizza, or the color book about ice cream. Pick one of those. All right, now that you've selected some material that is of very high interest, then you gather together the flashcards for that particular material. Now, if you don't have my program and you're doing this from scratch, build those flashcards and make them really big. Read my book, Whole Child Reading, for directions on how to do that. So now, so far, you've done the 3 letter sounds and you're ready to go with the material. So you're going to teach that material sandwich style. Flash the cards, read the book, flash the cards. I give instructions for this in my book, Whole Child Reading, and I also have given plenty of instructions in my other videos. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see it all there. All right, so far, you've done the 3 sounds, you've taught the material sandwich style, flash, read, flash. Now, do those 3 sounds again at the end. Repeat the 3 sounds you taught in the beginning. There's your 5 minutes. Because flashing takes seconds. It's not going to take you that long to read the book. And then you've got seconds of flashing again. And then you've got the 3 letter sounds. Just a reminder, when I talk about flashing cards, I'm talking about the fast flash method, which I detail in the book and in my videos. So just keep that in mind. That's why it goes so fast. The other thing I wanted to mention is that at the end of every session, no matter how long or short it is, we need to give some sort of emotional reward, whether it's a high five or a fist bump or a hug or whatever floats their boat. So that's how we end. We end on a very up note. All right, so let's move on to a 15 or 20-minute session. I'm suggesting that you keep the same plan, but add a second high interest element for reading material for the middle part. All right, so you're going to do the letter sounds, you're going to do that totally awesome book or lotto game or whatever it is you've selected. Now let's add another main component to that core part of your teaching. And for that, I suggest you pick out one of the Dolch high frequency word books in my series. I designed them so they teach those essential word lists sequentially. And what those words are the most frequently read words in the English language, starting with the most frequent. So that's why that series is built that way. So one book builds on what the learner has already learned before. So I suggest you take one chapter from one of those books. Whatever the level of the student is, just pick the right level. One chapter from that book, gather together the flashcards, teach sandwich style. So far in a 15 or 20 minute, we've got the 3 letter sounds, you've got your awesome book, whatever it was, and then you have one chapter from one of the Dolch books, and then end with the 3 letter sounds again until the learner has learned those sounds. High five, fist bump, hug, you're done. So what if you have 30 minutes or even 45 minutes? Well, now you're cooking. And now we can add a third element to your teaching schedule. So it might be another bit of material, it might be phonics work, use analytic phonics, don't use synthetic phonics, or comprehension work, your choice, you can add that in. And whatever it is that you add in, be sure to leave time for one element at the end. And that is something totally cool, wonderful, and fun. You're ending on a very high note. What I loved to do was to use a modified trade book. And you can read all the instructions for that in my book, Whole Child Reading, how to do that. So it would typically be a movie book or a famous TV character, any of these trade books, these regular popular books that are out there that their peers can read, but they can't read quite yet. So I modify them, I rewrite them permanently with permanent labels. So I would save that till the very last thing. It would always be on a topic they loved, and it would typically be at a literacy level a little beyond where they are. So we would read it together. I'm still sitting across from them teaching. This is not just entertainment. This is buy-in. This is, hey, this is what you can read if you work a little harder and keep going with this. So that's how I like to end. Ends on a very high note, and then fist bump, high five, hug, whatever floats their boat, like I said before, and you're done. So remember, the crucial components for a beginner's reading session are letter sounds and super high interest materials. As they progress, you're going to add more components like I suggested. So I hope this gives you some ideas and a framework that you can use to fill in according to the needs of your learner. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.